Here's a thought. What if the kids of Homestuck, instead of entering Spurb, were thrown into the wonderful world of Pokemon? Specifically, after they finished freaking the heck out, what would their teams be? Welcome back, everyone! Or if you clicked on this video unaware, this is the third video in a series of art exercises that has the characters of Homestuck as Pokemon trainers. I have the link to the playlist here and in the doobly-doo below. Where's the second video? It's on my art channel, so be sure to keep an eye out there as well. I don't have a set schedule for the uploads there, so it is very important to subscribe and click that notification bell. And do that for this channel too while you're at it. Enough chit chat, you know how this goes. Let's get started on the Speedpaint. Like the previous vids, I'll be using Clip Studio Paint EX and a Wacom Intuos Pro tablet. Dave Strider, aka Mr. Cool Kid with a Sword, is our beta kid of the day. As per usual, 5 heads high is our standard for a Homestuck character. Dave is going to be facing the viewer head on, firmly holding a sword into the ground. I thought about having him sling his sword across his shoulder, but changed my mind due to the lack of front-facing pose references. Also, all the 3/4 poses I was able to find all had the blade digging into the model's shoulder. Ow, dog! If that Master Sword replica was actually sharp, you'd be cutting into your arm! Use the flat side of the blade! Jeez! Had a bit of an issue finding the contrapposto for this guy due to the pose. Contrapposto refers to the pose where one leg supports the weight of the subject, while the other leg is bent. When you're in contrapposto, your shoulders tend to lean towards the straight leg as well. Some poses, especially for female subjects, they are very clear, very over-exaggerated. Dave's is just going to be very slight due to him already placing some of his weight upon his sword. And I was determined to get the hands looking well, even though Dave is going to be shrunk down for the final image. I also struggled with the references for Dave's thighs and shoulders because I was leaning a bit too hard on the ref pose, and the model for that has adult muscles. Sheesh. Because keep in mind, guys, age-wise, Dave is, say it with me, 13 years old. I decided early on that the kids would have clothes reminiscent of the protagonists from the Pokemon games. Dave's are based on Ruby, or Brendan, from the original Ruby and Sapphire. My first Pokemon game! Emerald's version of the clothes are okay, I like the short sleeves, but the pants. What? Are you wearing shorts over your pants? Though, I have to ask, who came up with the hat design? I think Dave would be in denial over Ruby's hair canonically being brunette and not white, because the white is actually the hat. It'll be like Undyne at the dump saying, "Anime is real, right?" Levels of denial. The only person who would be supportive of Dave's headcanon would be Dirk, who quickly stashes the Pokemon manga under his bed. I wish I found a few more clothing references for sleeves and pants. Clearly I have not learned my lesson of references being a saving grace. I don't even know what fabric these could be. Is it polyester? Or is it something softer like cotton? I don't know. Later off-screen, I add the gear-like crenellations of the time symbol onto his jacket. Makes it look kind of similar to the hood for the Night Class God Tier robes. Also, I added a hood. I don't like the collar on Ruby's jacket. It just... no. Next comes the sword. I based its design on Honedge. He's not wielding a literal Honedge. It's just designed to look like one. Though this does link him to a team member later on. But I think we all know that holding a Honedge is a bad idea. Man, the Pokemon manga was dark. A few more edits, and Dave's line art is done. Now for his team. Dave's first teammate is Krokorok, the ground and dark type crocodile Pokemon. The glasses come pre-installed. Although he did wear a pair in the anime. Dave's denizens in the land of heat and clockwork are the Nacodiles, crocodiles. Curious little creatures with a habit of getting into things. And they tried to eat Dave that one time. Krokorok are surprisingly small, a little over 3 feet tall, and I had to fight the urge to make them cute and round yet again. Make the crocodile's skull smaller, Jen. Dave's second Pokemon is Corviknight. Dave's second tallest Mon needs to be rescaled later. Not gonna lie, I like birds, but I've never drawn them that much. I had to do rough sketches of this guy way before I started drawing him just to make sure that he looks a bit decent for the final drawing. Is it me, or have Pokemon designs just gotten more complicated after Gen 3? Dave would certainly have this bird in shining armor because of his link with both crows and knighthood. I wonder if Rookity would be his starter. Crows have already invaded his bedroom at the start of the series, after all. There's this one fun little detail that the bird in the fly animation looks similar to a chibi version of a Corviknight, fitting considering it's the taxi service Pokemon in Galar. Dave's third Pokemon is Magcargo. At 2 foot 7 inches, it is the smallest member of Dave's team. Not only is it a creature made up entirely of magma, similar to the surface of Lohak, I think the flash-stepping Dave Strider would want a slow Pokemon, purely for ironic reasons. And I mean, Slugma's found on the bike trail, isn't it? So weird. Magcargo doesn't get a lot of love. It's not used for any competitive scene, unless it's used for hatching eggs, when Talonflame is not available. Dave's fourth Pokemon is Charizard, Game Freak's favorite son. A fiery dragon for our knight. I mean, it grows wings to fly. I have to give the Kanto starters to the beta kids, okay? There's just no way around it. It's just what I want. Despite that Charizard has been around since the beginning, and I know I've drawn it sometime in my youth, I have struggled drawing this guy. I guess it's the whole so simple, it's easy to make mistakes thing, like with Quagsire. It's the leathery wings, really, and surprisingly the neck muscles. You see, when you turn your head, one side of your neck muscles stretches, the other side loosens, and I forgot this fact when I was drawing, of course, so I was trying to figure it out as I was going along. The next Pokemon for Dave is Aegislash, a big sword. As big as Charizard. What the heck, Game Freak? The Symmetry Ruler was my hero for this guy. I get his basic body shape done first, but I'll be giving him a more dynamic pose. I'm gonna have him lean forward protectively from the background while he's switching between shield and sword mode. The shield was the real trial. I had to switch the Symmetry Ruler to 3 lines instead of 2 to make the mirrored radial pattern. Since the eraser tool does not work with the ruler, I have to correct mistakes in my sketch with white pencil to have it consistent with the rest of the pattern. It's not a 1-for-1 comparison, but the Speedpaint is getting long enough as it is. Now for the inking on Aegislash, I made sure to use the Symmetry Ruler again, and I used the curve tool as well. I want to make sure that scarf arm is nice and smooth. The expression on his face reminds me of LB Dot's Dusk from her comics and animations. Who knew only having one eye and no mouth could make you so expressive? Last Pokemon. Deep breath in. Dave's legendary Pokemon is the creator of time and the box legendary for Pokemon Diamond, Dialga. It was hinted at a few times because of the songs playing in the background. Dialga is a tall boy, just a few inches shy of a giraffe, so he's lying down so Dave isn't the size of an ant. Gen 4's legendaries are super complicated designs. Dialga took me an hour to draw. Ironically, he's going to be hidden in the background for most of this, so there really wasn't a point. Except for my own perfectionism. The metal parts on its face, fin, and feet were the big ones, also the big metal chest plate as well. Gen 4's storyline and gameplay was really good. Platinum is one of my favorite titles. And then Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl did it such a disservice. I will never forgive those games for doing that. Line art complete. Let's get everything to scale and start coloring. I had the base color done in advance. Now I just need to add the rest of the flats. Macargo was fairly quick. I added a flame escaping the shell, blurring it a bit to blend the colors. Also, Macargo's shell glows, if you didn't know. Like, the lava on the other side is almost too hot to hold back, so I had to brush on a few of that on the top. Krokorok was very quick, but I had to be careful that I was coloring the correct color for each of the stripes. Aegislash was another multi-layer line art beast. I didn't learn my lesson from using folders on John's video, but I worked my way around it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Charizard's body was also quick. Gen 1 designs are pretty basic, color-wise. I added the signature flame to the end of his tail, using the same method for Macargo. Corviknight is 4 colors maximum, 3 of which are just black tones, so that was really fast coloring. And Dialga was pretty quick too, despite the line art making my eye twitch. That means I saved the hardest for last. I started color picking from Dave's God tier robes, but then I stopped because I hated how saturated it was turning out. John was able to pull it off, not Dave. No, not this time. So I made the colors a bit closer to Ruby's clothes. Super saturated clothes are great for Homestuck, but not for illustrations of Homestuck, if you get my feel. Next was the sword. I used Hone Edge's coloring, but I made the eye more matte and the pupil blank, as if to signify, no, this is not a sentient being, it's just a model. Shh. I make the line art for the blade gray instead of black for good measure. I made Dave's skin base a bit more pale and then started on the shadows and highlights. I chose a pale red and a very, very dark green. I wanted to have the light coming from the front. This would have been a very dramatic lighting setup, but again, I lacked the references for this. 3 strikes, I'm out. I rushed this a bit to meet my self-imposed deadline, so the shadows and highlights turned into a more non-specific lighting setup, where if surfaces are close to each other, you put a shadow there. Yeah. I blended the lights on the surfaces a bit too much as well. At least I got the concept that the metallic edges on certain Pokemon are supposed to be brighter than the rest. Ironically, Dialga's lighting is the best in my opinion, but of course, he's going to be hidden in the background. Add 1 blurry volcano background and 1 more dramatic shadow layer, and I think Dave's is my second favorite piece. Better than Rose by a long shot, but I think I like John's more. Granted, the Pokemon look great. Aegislash and Dialga especially. And I liked how the highlights on Corviknight turned out, but I could have pushed the shadows and highlights so much more. I shouldn't have played it so safe. And references, Jen. References. I'm gonna go gather some more clothing references right after this. I can't keep guessing at stuff like this. I'm not that experienced just yet. So, it's a mixture of good and bad. I'll give it 7 out of 10 hats. What do you think? Both for Dave's team and the art. What do you think Jade's team will be? What do you think the Trolls' teams are? What about the Alpha Kids? Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.